And welcome to RTF Sports Talk. Your host here, Matthew Lyle. I'm joined today with Michael Buckheister and Billy the Grand Hefe Hatton. Mike, I got to get you a nickname going on there in the middle. How are we doing today, guys?
I'm doing all right. Mike, it's your first time over here on this side of the show.
Hey,
Yeah.
I'm pretty excited about it, man. I mean, I am entering my inner Skip Bayless here. I got him playing in the background here, so
Oh my God,
kind of excited about
that's
it.
already
This show's
L.
going to go horrible already. I'm already cutting it off. So, yes, for those who listen, first time when Mike was on vacation, Billy let me drive the wheel a little bit. I got that taste of power, and I'm not giving it up. I'm driving this. I'm driving the truck today, guys. But we do got Mike. We tried this on another show last night, and Mike really enjoyed kind of bringing his a point of everything instead of kind of driving and leading the discussion. He kind of just got to sit back, and I thought he did a really good job. So I thought we would bring that same magic to RTF Sports Talk. And on today's docket, we got a little bit of a change up. We're going to go Thursday Night Football, talking that NFL just like always. We got some NBA chatter. We got a little college football, college basketball. And then we're going to play some games at the end. I need you guys to play the rules, or I'm kicking you off the show. I don't know how I'm going to exit you out of Anchor, but you're gone. If you don't follow the rules, you're gone. So we're going to start off, like I said, Thursday Night Football. Snoring game of the week. The battle of who cares. Tennessee Titans hosting the Jacksonville Jaguars. Who you got and why? Billy, go first.
I got the Tennessee Titans. 1, it's a short week. 2, they're at home. 3, the Jacksonville Jaguars are a mess. The Titans may be equally a mess, but they also are one game behind the Baltimore Ravens for a wild card spot. The head coach, I'm for some reason I'm drawing a blank on his name. The guy that came from the Texans, linebacker Vrabel. He knows what's at stake. He has playoff DNA. He has championship DNA. He's going to have his team ready. The Jacksonville Jaguars, what are they right now? I'm surprised they won. I keep saying this every week for certain teams. You don't want Cody Kessler as your quarterback. You don't want Blake Bortles as your quarterback, and you continue to win. Although it wasn't their fault last week, I mean, 6 points got them a win. That's normally not how it works in the NFL. But for a team that's kind of shambles right now, the defense is starting to pick it back up. Offense still kind of hit or miss. I'm gonna go with the Tennessee Titans on this one, in a close one.
And
What you, Mike?
I'm going to have to go with the Jacksonville Jaguars on this, specifically for every reason you said, but on the other side of the coin. They don't know what is going on in Jacksonville right now. They are, is Blake Bortles their future? Obviously not. Is that Kessler guy their future? No. But it doesn't really matter because that defensive team is put together, and they are built to win a lot of games if they get the right chemistry on the offense. And I think that defense wants to show that the last 3 or 4 games of the season, and that showed against the Colts there. Like the Titans, they're kind of a mediocre, struggling team. If you look at their last 5 games, they did beat the Cowboys. They did beat the Patriots, but since then they got destroyed by the Colts. They got destroyed by Houston, and they beat a horrible Jets team. So they are kind of on that peering edge there. And since they are fighting for a playoff berth for that wild card thing, I think Jacksonville wants to play that spoiler. They're going to show up to play in a primetime game, and they're going to upset them, win by 7 points.
Yeah, I mean, I get all that. But this is different for me. Although last week they shot out Andrew Luck, I hear you, everything you're saying about how that defense is put together, and I agree. But we're talking about a defense who's been less than subpar this year. We've been asking questions like, are they going to trade Jalen Ramsey? Are they going to blow the whole thing up? Because guys are starting to become unhappy, and I don't think that trend stops tonight. Yeah, they won last week, but that's lucky. I mean, like I just said earlier, how many times do you win an NFL game playing against a so to speak franchise quarterback on the other side of the field, and all you need is 6 points to win the game? I don't see that happening. Marcus Mariota is a different trick than Andrew Luck, because this guy is going to be running the football. Running quarterbacks or guys who have the ability to run the football, make plays with their feet, open up plays in the passing game. He can rock Jalen Ramsey to sleep. He can rock A.J. Bowie to sleep, and Barry Church and Ronnie Harrison and all those guys to sleep by just running zone read, scrambling here and there. And then they're gonna play undisciplined football, and they're gonna get beat over the top. I got Tennessee, but I do agree with all your points, Mike. It's very valid points.
And if you think about this, for every reason that you just said, that is the reason why they're going to step up. Is because of the trade talk, of the blowing up the team, etc. They want that core defense to stay together. So the defense is going to find their inner strength, find their inner zen, and they're going to rise to the occasion, and they're going to beat the Tennessee Titans on tonight.
They show better.
So I'm going to go. It's going to be a snore fest. It's going to be 6-3 Titans. The Titans always have the Jacksonville's number, and I don't know. I'm not even going to watch the game. Let's be honest. But I got another question for you guys on this. You really have two different style of teams. Which would you rather have? You got a Jacksonville team that on that defense, there's probably Pro Bowls at every different level on that D-line, linebacker, secondary. But that offense, you couldn't be further from not having a quarterback. They got a solid running back but he's injury prone. They really don't have a number one receiver. But then you got the Titans on the other hand, which every player on that starting offense and defense is decent, but none is good. They have no great players. So if you were going to take over a team as a coach, a manager, an owner, would you rather have a team that has some pieces, but on some other pieces they couldn't be further away, or a team that is okay everywhere, doesn't really have one big need, but doesn't really have any all-stars either?
Mike, you want to take this one?
Yeah, sure. If it was me back in the early 2000s, late 90s, I'm going to have to go with the Jacksonville Jaguars, because it has proven that defense wins championships. So that was proven with the Baltimore Ravens when they won their championship, etc. But in today's NFL, you have to have offense. Defense doesn't really matter anymore. Point case, you have the Kansas City Chiefs. They are giving up 40-plus points a game while scoring 50-plus points a game. So I'm going to have to go with the Tennessee Titans on this one, because I think they are just like one piece away. They are maybe a Kareem Hunt away. They are a Le'Veon Bell away from being that stellar offense that every NFL team is basically striving to be now. So I'm going to have to go with the Tennessee Titans.
I'm gonna go with the team that got a few pieces everywhere, but is far away on the other side. And I say that because we can use those same Jacksonville Jaguars right now. We've seen Blake Bortles play good against good teams. He just do it in spurts.
Yeah.
We've seen him put up four or five touchdowns against this Patriots team this year, but he didn't do it last year. And they still got to the AFC Championship game. So there's still room for defense in this league. Your defense just has to be dominant. And that Jacksonville Jaguars defense was dominant. Look at what the Minnesota Vikings defense did last year. The number one overall defense in the NFL last year got to the NFC Championship game against the Eagles with a subpar quarterback. Yeah, they had Thielen and Diggs, but who else did they have? Cook was hurt all of last year, and they had Case Keenum as their quarterback. So give me the team that has some great pieces, but on one side, but far away on the other side.
So my verdict on that, I'm going to have to side with Billy on this one, and only reason because it is tough to win the Super Bowl without an elite quarterback. It's even tougher to win anything without an elite anything. So Billy gets the little nod on that one. Great debate there. We're going to move on to
get out of here. Crap.
We're going to move on to some. There you are. There's the Mike Buckeyes we all love. We're going to move on to some shady area. I'm going to preface this by everybody listening. that knows that we don't really dive into this very much, and I don't want to dive too deep into the political and the off-the-field issue of this. So I'm going to put some training wheels on this conversation, and we're just going to tread lightly. We talked about it in the Jacksonville Jaguar. There's Cody Kessler. If you look at the Washington Redskins, they're down to, I think, Josh Johnson and Mark Sanchez. And social media, unless you're living under a rock, is really clamoring for one name, a name of an unsigned quarterback who has some publicity issues. Now, we're not going to get into this whole the whole topic of what's going on with that. But the debate I've been having with it is Colin Kaepernick has a suit against the NFL. It's in his best interest to just keep moving in that right direction. He seems to be doing all right for himself. Don't come back and do all that. So I'm going to position this question to you guys. If you were in the NFL, or if you were in your favorite sport, whether it be NFL, NBA, and you could go and play that sport for a median role, or you could continue on whatever legal issue you may have with that league, whether it be, let's say it's concussions, let's say it's injuries, let's say it's something with the NBA, is playing the sport of your dreams worth giving up whatever personal issue you may have? Billy, go.
I would say no, but I think in his case that he can also keep, the suit that he already have against the NFL. We see a guy like Eric Reed. He's already signed, playing for the Carolina Panthers, and his suit is still active and pending. So I guess if we're talking in the realm of sports, I think you can still do both without messing up your integrity. But I think in any other situation outside of sports, because sports is a tad bit different. I think in any other thing outside of sports, me personally, I would keep on with the personal agenda that I have rather than basically go bow down to somebody.
So before Mike goes, and I'm warning you, Mike, I know you're political, so let's keep this sports related. What made me think of this question was obviously those topics, but I got something in the mail, and I won't name the company. It was a company that I'm involved with that I have a service through. There's a class action lawsuit against them, and I can be a part of getting some money. I don't know how much it'll be, but I'll be a part of getting some money. But if I sign that piece of paper, I have to stop using that company's service, and to me, it's not worth it because I have a feeling it's only going to be a couple $100. It's not worth me giving up something I enjoy using to be a part of this class action lawsuit for a couple $100. So that's one thing that made me think of, because obviously once I'm part of suing this company will not provide me a service. So that's what kind of, to Billy's point, once it's out of sports, you're absolutely right. There's certain things you can't do. What was you going to say something, Billy or Mike?
Yeah, I was just going to say, anyways, but just for me, and I think everything has to be in context, because in his case, Colin Kaepernick's case, he wouldn't have to give up his lawsuit, of the NFL collusion case to be able to play this sport or to be able to do what he loved. In your case, in our case, because I think I know what you're talking about, it's a tad bit different because that's not going to happen, and then I still provide you with the services that you need. So I just think the cases are a tad bit different because he wouldn't have to give up his lawsuit in order to still play.
But in your own personal case, like if you were an NBA All-Star and the NBA had wronged you in some way, would you give that up? Would you give up the NBA career, Billy Hatton, to continue your personal endeavor and what you fight for what you thought was right? Or would you say, man, the Lakers want me, let me get that jersey?
I'll probably go get the jersey. I mean, and that's why I harp down on Colin Kaepernick so much, because John Elway gave him an opportunity to play football. He turned it down. So, but yeah, I'll go get that jersey.
All right, Mike, what about you? You getting the jersey, or you fighting for what's right for Michael Buckheister?
You know what? At the end of the day, it is what is right for my family. It basically comes down to the position. Can I provide successfully for my family. If I am standing up for what I believe in, but I'm still earning a paycheck and being able to support my family in a healthy way, I think I'm going to stay on the side of standing up for what I believe in, simply because I've gotten to this point now, and the NFL, the Major League Baseball, NBA doesn't really want me to play. So why would I go risk what I'm earning now, say $5 million from a Nike ad, to go play for a league minimum at $150,000, $200,000 a year, and I could be the next broken leg on the sideline in a Redskins jersey. So, there are many factors that add into my choice here, but if I'm able to provide a healthy lifestyle for my family, I have to stick with my rights because that is what I believe in.
Hey, like I said, I didn't want to get into too much dirty water there, but because I know that conversation can go left or right real quick. But to your point, Mike, about your family point, I mean, it's very interesting to watch the career paths of two different decisions, two people who chose to make a decision, and I know they're not the exact same, but based on one was for a bigger issue that wasn't so personal to him as like him as an individual. And then one was very personal. If you look at the Le'Veon Bell situation, he took a gamble for him and only him and his family.
Right.
Like that does not benefit anyone else. Now, I'm yet to see how that goes out. Colin Kaepernick, on the other hand, took a stand, no matter what you agree on it or disagree. He took a stand that really didn't really affect him personally as Colin Kaepernick as it did people he was wanting to support. So I think by him doing that, you brought up the Nike deal, he has brought in financials such as that. If this Le'Veon Bell thing goes wrong, there's not going to be Nike saying, hey, we like what you did for yourself. Here's $5 million. So it's very interesting to see how those two moral stands that two players made pay out for them. So on to something lighter here. We're going to go. This was aimed more towards Billy, so I want to know his thoughts here. Hugh Freeze to Florida State. What's your thoughts?
I like it. I mean, he's a tough coach. He's a good coach. He's an innovative coach. He's a fierce recruiter, and I think that's what we need right now at Florida State. We need more talent. We need better talent because the previous regime, going back to Jimbo Fisher, it just seemed like I don't know what he was doing down the stretch. He must knew, and I don't want to get too much in his personal business, but it was thought about whenever this one particular thing happened. That's when he just said, "All hell with Florida State." Hugh Freeze is a coach that's been around, who know the game, and I think his head coaching skill would kind of offset Taggart's. Where we had Walt Bell, a guy who had never been an offensive coordinator, and normally those offensive-minded coach always want to call the plays, and I'm always against a head coach wanting to call plays. There's outliers, there's anomalies that do it. You got your Sean McVays, your Jimbo Fishers, your Andy Reid's, and those guys. But I'm always against guys who, being a head coach, you already got too much on your plate to go be the offensive coordinator. Similar to what you were saying the other day, Matthew, about Josh McDaniels, where he's not just going to be talking to Aaron Rodgers and Aaron Jones and Devontae Adams. He's going to be in charge of everybody. And that's how I like my head coach. Just run the show, get you a guy that know what he's doing. I think Hugh Freeze is a guy that know what he's doing and know how to call plays. I think it couldn't be more of a perfect situation.
Mike, got an opinion on that, being kind of an outsider, not really a Florida State fan?
Yeah, it's kind of jumping on the point of, you should never have your head coach call plays. Doesn't nearly 90% of the coaches in the NFL call their own plays?
No. Only a select few.
No. Only a
sure?
few.
Yeah.
And Andy Reid even lets Eric, what I can't say his last name, it's a crazy last name. He even calls some plays. They don't call the whole game.
Yeah, Bill Belichick doesn't. Now I don't know what's going on this year, but he doesn't get in Josh McDaniels' way. And last year he pretty much let Matt Patricia do whatever he wanted.
Yeah, and reports came out the other day that from old players that played with Aaron Rodgers, when Mike McCarthy would call in a play, Aaron Rodgers would roll his eyes. I really can't see him rolling his eyes every single play. So somebody else is calling plays as well.
Yeah, I mean, but kind of to your point there, like I don't know much about Hugh Freeze. Like I mean, like the Old Miss has kind of been a mediocre team for the last 4 years. They've had a couple big wins, so I really don't know how much his name alone will carry carry weight in recruiting or like anything like that. But as far as his offensive play calling, I don't know much about his play calling either. So I would kind of be intrigued just to see how he actually does at a quote unquote big name school, and if he can bring in those top recruits to help with his offensive play calling at the end of the day.
So one quick question. I want a yes or no from either you, no more, no less. Hugh Freeze obviously coached at Ole Miss, had some great recruits. Ladarius Treadwell, the big lineman, tons of with the guy on Kimdichie. Are you guys concerned about him bringing in those recruiting issues and those recruiting violations? Yes or no?
No.
Yes.
Mike?
Yes.
All right, we're going to move on. I will be honest with you. I left this off the original docket, but then I remembered this is a very passionate point for Billy. So I'm just going to set the parameters for the fans and let Billy and Mike take away. Apparently, there was a coordinator for the Packers who made a tweet that was very harsh, maybe, towards Aaron Rodgers. I'll be honest with you, I didn't see the tweet, so I'm going to let Billy take this over. He then lost his job for being vocal about it. Billy, what's your thoughts on it?
Yeah, Winston Moss, the guy, he's been with Mike McCarthy for 13 years in Green Bay. And this was the tweet. It says, ponder this. What championship team have a great leadership? Period. It's not the offensive guru trend. It's not the safe trend. Find somebody that's going to hold number 12 and everybody in this building to a Lombardi standard. Period. Hashtag losing sucks. And shortly after, he was gone. And it kind of, I said this yesterday on Unpopular Opinion. It brings me back to kind of what you were saying the other day, Matthew, on the show when we said, is it a good thing for Josh McDaniels to go play with or coach Aaron Rodgers? And you said if you're Josh McDaniels, you're looking at that situation, how it all went down with Mike McCarthy, and you're saying, no way. No, thank you. I don't want any part of that because I could be the next one out the door just because you don't like me. And that's kind of what this seemed like. It seemed like Aaron Rodgers, obviously, he's going to have a hold on that franchise. The next, oh, my God, look at how he throws it. Everybody just marvels at everything he do. And I've said it on this show many and many times that it seemed like everybody else get held to a certain accountability level, and Aaron Rodgers never have. Brady, we never give him we never give him a pass for not having weapons. All we want to know is, did you win or did you lose? Peyton Manning, I don't care whether it was cold weather or not and you play in the dome. Did you win or did you lose? Brett Favre and Dan Marino and John Elway and Troy Aikman. That's how we judge these quarterbacks. And it seemed like for Aaron Rodgers, there's no accountability. And when a guy called that out, a guy who's respected in this league, who's been on this team since for 13 years, it would seem as if he would be able to say something like this. But it just shows you the power that Aaron Rodgers have on this franchise, that you will not critique my quarterback or else you're going to be fired. Bill Belichick critiques Tom Brady all the time. Different coaches in the media come out and they correct their franchise quarterback all the time. You should be able to do that. It doesn't seem like Aaron Rodgers like criticism.
And in
Mike?
and in typical Aaron Rodgers fashion, he responded to these comments in a smart aleck type of tone, saying, "Yeah, maybe I do need to hold myself to a higher standard." Aaron Rodgers, yes, you do need to hold yourself to a higher standard. You are being considered one of the greatest of all time, up there with Tom Brady, Joe Montana, etc. Some people are even putting you above Tom Brady and our current GOAT era status of like the active players here. And if the quarterback, the number 12 on the Green Bay Packers, doesn't hold himself to a higher standard, how can the rest of the team hold themselves to a higher standard? I have to applaud the way Moss came out and said this. Yes, it should have stayed in-house. If it stayed in-house, we wouldn't be talking about this. He would still probably have a job, and Aaron Rodgers maybe would have came up upset on Sunday and threw for 5 or 6 touchdowns. We really don't know. But I think now, since the way Moss approached it and he did it on Twitter, this is kind of giving Aaron Rodgers an out on the season. Like, look, I lost my head coach. I lost my I believe what was Moss's official term? Like,
he was the associate head coach.
So the associate head coach. So I mean, like, basically, firing Moss gives Aaron Rodgers another excuse, just like what Billy alluded to. I don't have any wide receivers. I don't have a defense. Now he can say he doesn't have a head coach or an associate head coach either. So, as I applaud what Moss said, he could have went in it in a different way, said it in-house, maybe said it to Aaron's face, and maybe he would have stepped up his like of his game. But the Packers are dead now this season. I bet you they don't win one more game for the rest of the season.
Yeah, Mike,
because of this issue.
But him and Mike McCarthy was really good friends, which is the reason why, to your point, you say he probably should have kept it in house. I think he knew this would happen. He knew sending this tweet, especially all the stuff that done went down. Aaron Rodgers say whatever he wants about Ty Montgomery. Guess what? Ty Montgomery gone the next day. By the trade deadline. Mike McCarthy, you start hearing all the rumors that Rodgers don't like McCarthy and all this other stuff. Guess what? Mike McCarthy gone. He knew. As soon as he sent this tweet,
those rumors have been going on for 2 or 3 seasons now, and just like since they started to like lose, that is when they started gaining more and more traction.
That's the point. That's when it always happens. As long as you're winning, of course they're not going to get rid of you. That doesn't make any sense. You're a grown man. Get over it. You're winning. Bill Belichick and Tom Brady, it's been well documented. They don't like each other. But guess what? As long as we're winning, I don't care what happens. Get over it and do your thing. But to the point, he knew he was going to get fired sending this tweet. There's no person in their right mind sane enough to think, man, if I send this tweet specifically calling out Aaron Rodgers, I'm not gonna get fired. They're just gonna talk to me. No, especially when they're already on a firing spree. He knew it, and he must know, as Matthew said the other day, he must know something that we don't know.
You know what? Both of y'all get a point. Great, passionate conversation. Billy gets an additional point about me being right.
Hey,
and
why don't you give me 1 second here? So let me ask a question here to you guys. After this firing spree, after this latest tweet, and like Aaron Rodgers kind of never taking any blame, does this make the Packers job that much less enticing now?
You want to take this, Matthew?
I'm going to say yes and no. I mean, yes, it makes it less enticing if you're the Josh McDaniels that me and Billy talked about last show. But no, if you're just some random coordinator, because we talked about this with the coach job or any job. There's only 32 of these, and this is how you get your foot in the door. And once you get your foot in the door, you don't really lose that unless you do something horrible. So, yes, if you're a big-name guy thinking about making a jump, but if you're just a typical coordinator for a team that's mediocre or decent, no, it's still a head coaching job. You want that.
That was going to be my exact answer. That's why I wanted you to answer first, because I figured that would be the route that you would go. Yeah, good point. If I'm an experienced coach, if I'm an established coach in this league, I don't work with some of the best athletes. No way I'm trying to go deal with your attitude for a guy that's been 5-6 in the playoffs since his Super Bowl. No, I'm not going to deal with that. Sorry. But if I'm a new coach, yeah, I mean, I'm taking that job because this could be the guy that catapults my career.
So as I was saying, both of y'all get a point. Billy gets an extra point for talking about me being right and bragging on Tom Brady and Bill Belichick. Mike, you lose a point because you're the one that in the summer said Aaron Rodgers was better than Tom Brady. So you're that person that you were talking about those people. And on a side, little funny note, I know it's a commercial and I know it's fake, but you talk about Aaron Rodgers being sarcastic and kind of just condescending. Look how he acts in those commercials where his agent, it's not his real agent, I know, but his agent, the man who got him paid, he treats like a second-class citizen while this State Farm dude gets all his love. No, Aaron Rodgers, I don't like you because of that one. So, I mean, if you've seen the commercial, this is your agent. This is somebody who's been with you for 15 years of your career. This man made you every penny you have.
I also made him every penny that he has too, though.
Doubtful. The man, agent's probably if you're Aaron Rodgers' agent, and I'm gonna have to look this up.
Hey, Tristan Thompson got $90 million.
Right. So
we all know he don't deserve it.
All right. So because Mike came in there side railing with his own questions, who does he think he is? Me. That's what I do when I'm not hosting. But we're gonna move on to these next two questions I got for you. You each get 30 seconds, so be quick. First off, NBA parity. I know it's not there this year. I know that the Warriors, as far as we all think, is going to win the title and win it pretty easily. But up until this point, if you look at the standings, there appears to be parity. There's never really been parity in the NBA. We're going to start with you, Mike. You got 30 seconds. Would parity be good for the NBA?
I'm going to have to go with yes, parity would be good, simply because of, this makes the games that are not the Golden State and the Houston Rockets and the Lakers more impelling. I am more amped to watch the Kings play. I'm more amped to watch the Clippers play. I am more amped to watch that Pelicans versus Hornets game that was on a couple nights ago. So evening out the playing field, making every team a quote-unquote a legitimate contender is nothing but great for the NBA at the end of the day. All right.
Billy, 30 seconds, go.
Yeah, I like parity. I mean, nobody likes to turn on the TV and say, yeah, we already know what's going to happen. I think if the NBA wasn't like that, if a lot of people didn't already think that, the casual NBA fans didn't think that Golden State would win the title, I believe we would get more people actually watching the NBA. So, yeah, parity is always good.
All right, moving on to the college ranks. Since college football playoffs got going, everybody's talking who's most deserving, who's the four best teams. Let's take this bigger. The college NCAA basketball takes 68 teams, and half of them are made up by conference champions. So no matter how bad your season is, if you win the conference in the conference tournament, you get in. Should the NCAA just go 64 most deserving and not take the conference championship into consideration? 30 seconds. Go, Billy.
Yes, I guess. But I like the idea of letting conference champions, or I should say no, I guess. I like the idea of letting conference champions get in. I've preached this for a few years now about college football, about at least the Power 5 conference champions should be able to get in, and then you have your other few wild cards. So, yeah, I like the fact that the champions get in.
Mike, 30 seconds, go.
So I'm going to have to go with no on this one. But let me give you a different twist on this. And like every atmosphere of football in general, there is a system to get into the playoffs. In high school, we have a 5-team sectional. The quote-unquote winner of that sectional then makes it to the playoffs. Why cannot we do something like that? There are 132 teams in the 1A team ranks here. Split those off into, say your 64 sectionals, and then the winner of each sectional then makes it to the playoffs, and then just play it out just like in a regular high school game, Division III, Division II, etc.
All right, Mike took us rogue there, but he said no. So I'm going to go on. I need one word and one word only for the final speed round here. First off, we're going to start with true or false, college football. Notre Dame joins a conference by 2022. True or false, nothing else. Billy?
False.
False.
Mike?
False.
NBA or NFL, Kareem Hunt, obviously suspended. Don't know when he comes back. I don't think there's a question on will he ever play again, but will he? True or false? Kareem Hunt will make a Pro Bowl again. Billy?
True.
Mike?
False.
Moving on to the NBA, Anthony Davis. There's rumors he's going to go to the Lakers. There's also a rumor he gets traded this season before the NBA deadline. Mike, Anthony Davis will get traded this season. True or false?
True.
Billy?
True.
All right, moving on to the college basketball. The NCAA came out and said they're going to hold off on this whole Adidas scandal till after the 2019 NCAA Final Four. Does someone involved in that get the death penalty? Mike, true or false?
True.
Billy?
False.
All right, now last segment. This or that. I'm going to give you two selections. You pick the one that you think. Nothing more, nothing less. In college football, Bama's making the playoffs with a 2-quarterback system. Tua saved Hurt last year. Hurt saved Tua this year. Who plays more NFL snaps at any position, Tua or Hurts? Billy.
Tua.
Mike.
I'm going to go Hurts.
All right, moving on to the NFL standards. 2 mediocre quarterbacks, some consider great, some consider a letdown. Which one loses their job for non-NFL injuries? Matt Ryan or Matt Stafford? Billy.
Stafford.
Mike.
Stafford.
All right, with the NHL adding their 32nd team, getting a team in Seattle, NBA team more likely to get, or NBA city more likely to get an NBA team? Seattle or any other city in the country? Mike.
Any other city.
Billy.
I'm gonna go Seattle.
All right, and wrapping it up, we've had a lot of talk on here about R.J. Barrett over Zion Williams. Non-Duke player, which player gets drafted in the NBA first? Langford or Bobo? Mike.
Romeo Langford.
Billy.
I'm gonna go Bobo.
All right, guys, that includes everything we're going to talk about today. It's time to get some revenge on Mike. Mike, we're going to do you like you do us. Do you got a rant for us?
I do have a rant. Unfortunately.
Well, let's get it.
I do.
Let's get it.
So earlier this morning, I was watching Good Morning America, worst show in America, I might add. But they had the female that Reuben Foster allegedly assaulted. And one of the questions that was asked to her right off the bat, are you surprised that Reuben Foster got picked up so fast off of his claims? Her answer was yes. I never wanted him to play in the NFL ever again. And that right there rubbed me the wrong way. This woman has accused Reuben Foster of domestic violence, I believe, 2 or 3 times in the last year and a half. And so this tells me this latest claim say Foster was going to break up with her or something. So she was being a vindictive girl, and she wanted him to lose his job. Like, that's what it came to me. Her whole motive behind this whole point, whether it's true or false, we don't know yet. Like, it hasn't played out in the courts or like anything like that. But her job of reporting domestic violence to the 49ers, to the cops, was for Reuben Foster to lose his job. By her facts, that saying that she was surprised that he got picked up so fast and she never wanted him to play in the NFL again. So that's my rant for the day. Women, stop trying to bring down your man. Like, I don't care if you're trying to break up with him or they're trying to break up with you. Don't do it. Be the bigger person. Just move on.
All right, wow. We've done this show for like 6 months, and we've did our very best to stay unbiased and out of political conversation. There goes Mike just trugging us down in his first ever rant. Way to go, Mike. While you're at it, tell the fans where they can listen to this show at.
Guys, we are out there on iTunes, Spotify, Amazon, Google Podcasts, Spreaker as well. We're also up on we also post these up on YouTube at the end of each show as well. So be sure to follow us, subscribe, share this with a couple friends. Let's get the word out.
Can I just say something real quick before
Billy.
we get out of here?
Absolutely.
I just want to get a shout out to my high school. They're going to be playing in the state championship game today down in Orlando. And I just want to say, y'all go out there and ball out. Let's bring it home. Back-to-back state champs. One of the greatest high schools in American football. Let's go Cowboys.
All right, there you go. Never thought you'd hear Billy say, let's go Cowboys, but I hope Billy's team wins the championship game. That's it for RTF Sports Talk. My first ever host show. I'm not giving up this power. Sorry, Mike. Billy wins the first ever unofficial game. So we're going to close out. Thanks for joining.
How about the